Hi, my name is Ali Fumi and this is my final portfolio. The first project I did for this class was to create a personal avatar. We were to choose between two websites, Voki and Blabberize, to create the avatar. We could customize our avatar as we pleased, but we had to include the information of our name, major, and view of technology being used in the classroom. After completing our avatar, we copied the link and uploaded it to a discussion post. In the discussion post, we were required to listen to 6 other students' avatars and reply to 3 other students. The IST standard I found most fit for this assignment was Learner. Within the description of this standard, I came across it stating that educators continually improve their practice by learning from and with others, which applies because we were required to listen to other students' viewpoints on technology in the classroom and respond to them appropriately. This standard also fits the Avatar project because we were to speak about technology in the classroom, and a lot of us chose to talk about its effects on students, and part of this standard is how technology makes things in today's world possible. Now I'm going to show you how to use the Voki website. When going on the website, you're given the choice to make a free account. And I already have one, which I'm logged in right here because of having to make it for an assignment. So after you would make your account and log in, you would click on the create. And this is where it gives you all these options to create your own character. You can pick any type of character that doesn't have this star by it because the star is for the upgraded version. So I'm going to pick this girl right here. And then you can customize a lot with her. You can do her clothing. She has different outfits. Her hairstyle. If you want her to wear a hat or not, which I don't. And then you can pick a different scenery background for them. Change the color of everything, their hair, their skin color, their eyes, and their lips. And then this is where you can either voice record yourself or you can type a message.
Hi, I'm Ali and this is my Voki.
And after this, we copied the link and put it in the discussion post. So now I'm going to move on to a few strengths and weaknesses of Voki. One strength is that it gives students and teachers the opportunity to be very custom with who or what they want their avatar to look like. They can choose between celebrities or animals if they choose to. Another strength about using an avatar is it avoids having to actually speak in front of people. Like if it were the first day of school and people were nervous about introducing themselves, the teacher could have them create a Voki and that would play instead of having them talk. The only downside and weakness I found to using a website to create this avatar is that with the free version of Voki, a lot of the features are locked. So unless choosing to pay, you're limited to the customizations you can choose from. Now, if I were using Voki in my classroom, I would most importantly use it as an icebreaker in the beginning of the school year. In the beginning of the year, almost all students are shy because they don't know each other yet. Allowing them to introduce themselves through an avatar sort of lets them open up to the class about themselves, but still lets them hide behind a screen for now. I would also use this as a way to give class presentations. If the students wanted, they could create a Voki instead of a regular PowerPoint or video. This would let them be creative with their presentations. The final way I thought of using this in my classroom would be to perform skits. With Voki, you could choose to be a different character like Donald Trump and pretend you are him through talking through the microphone on the website. The next project we completed was to create an infograph. There were very specific instructions with this assignment. We couldn't just choose any topic we wanted. We had to pick a topic that was a trend in technology and education. After choosing our topic, we picked an appropriate audience for the infograph. There was a website recommended to use, which was Piktochart, that helps smoothly create the infograph. Within the graph, there had to be at least 5 different sources used for your information and have pictures that went along with your chosen topic. After completing the infograph, you downloaded it onto your computer and uploaded it into the D2L Dropbox. The ISTE standard I found went alongside best with this was Designer. I thought this standard worked best for the project because in the description it states that you can design authentic learning activities with an infograph. You can design yours to look unique and different from everybody else's. For my project, I went on to Piktochart and created a free account. So I just have to log in because mine's already done, and it took me to this screen. Now with this screen, this was not here because this is the one I made for my project. It was just blank. So you go over and you click infograph. And once you click infograph, it gives you the option to create a new infograph or to use one of these templates. And I found using this template was a little bit easier for me because I wasn't really strong with this format. So you can edit any text box that there is about your topic. Like I picked cell phones. And you can edit these to say whatever you want. And this is where I put my different topic choices. I made 5 of them. And these can be, you can pick a new image. You can delete things that you don't like, that don't match. You can add things. You can add shapes and icons and move them around. You can have different backgrounds for each page if you chose. You can insert different text boxes. You can have different color schemes. There's a lot you can really do with it. So the strength of making an infograph on Piktochart was that I found it was very visual and a great way to create a project. Everything you needed was right on that website. You didn't have to go to the store and buy materials for a poster. It was all right there. Another strength is once the graph was created, it was very easy to read and follow once it was downloaded onto your computer. It made it very like a long graph, and you could just go right along with it. You didn't have to flip through pages. You didn't have to do anything. It was bright, colorful, and eye-grabbing. One weakness I did find, though, while working on Piktochart was that when I first started using it and used it for the first time, I found it was very challenging to kind of get the hang of editing it because I wasn't sure how to insert a text box, and it wasn't really explanatory. You just had to kind of figure it out. So the first way I would use this in my classroom is to have the class make a brochure. I've done this in school before, making a brochure for a vacation, and it was a little challenging to me to make one from paper, fold it up, color it, decorate it, do everything you had to do. This, using an infograph and especially using Piktochart, allows you to insert photos, type things in the right font that you want, make it bright, colorful, eye-grabbing for someone's attention. Another way it could be used in my classroom was to create a newspaper article. The format isn't the same as a newspaper article, but it really reminds me of it because it's all on the front page, there's different layouts, and it's easy and fun to read, sort of like different articles in a newspaper. The third way I would use this would to make an all about me page in the beginning of the year for each student. They could put their picture in it, they could create their own all about me, and it could be hung in the classroom. So the next project I completed for this class was called Assessment Tools. This project had a little more work than the previous ones, but it all tied together at the end. The first task was to create a Google Forms survey and a Kahoot survey. After making these and uploading them into the Dropbox, we made a quiz on Quizline and Socrative. And this quiz had to be at least 5 questions, but you could use the same 5 questions on both. So after turning in all of these assignments, we were to create a rubric for a class project on Teach'em or Rubric Maker. The standard I chose for this project was Analyst. The standard fit best to me because the standard really talked about the different assessments for different students, and with our assignment we created various assessments on different websites. So to start, I'm going to just give you a quick little thing of Kahoot. So you would log in, or you would create a free account, or log in. Mine's logged in. So here you can go to the different Kahoots, and this was my survey. I was 3 questions, and the first question was online assignments. What do you prefer most between the 2 options? Then I had one about paper assignments. What do you prefer? And then if you had to choose one or the other, what would it be? And this was just a quick way to see how my students would feel about online assignments. Then, after turning in my surveys, I made a quiz on Quizalize. I made a teacher account. Once I log in, click my class. You can create a new quiz. And it's very simple to use. You just add your questions. You could say like, what state do I live in? And you put your correct answer. And then you can add answers that are wrong. So you could write New York, Florida, and Texas for wrong answers. And you keep going until you save it and give it to the class. After this, we had to make a rubric for an assignment that our students would be making. And I made mine on Rubric Maker. So you could just title it, I'm just going to title it Rubric. And click New. You don't need an account for this one either, which was, I really liked that. So you just type the 4 different categories of it. Some strengths and weaknesses I found with this project was the different option to create projects. We weren't just required to use one site, we could explore options and create works on different websites. Now the only weakness I had with this was working on Quizalize. For some reason I found this site a little hard to use at first. There weren't many links to get you to create your own quiz, but after I figured it out, now you can see that it's very simple. So the first way I would use this project in a classroom of my own is to create surveys about different topics or ways of teaching on Google Forms for my class to complete. This gives me instant feedback on a lesson and a way to see what my teaching options my students like most. The second way I would use this is to actually have my students take tests on Quizalize or Socreative instead of always just having a paper test. And finally, I would use a rubric maker for students to be able to make their own rubric with projects before I would assess them with a different one. So the last project I created in this class was to create my own TED Talk and screen and voice record myself. We had to pick a topic to talk about, create a storyboard and script, then make a presentation and upload the final project to YouTube. The standard I found most fit for my screencast and TED Talk was Citizen. While reading the descriptions for Citizen, I took away that the standard is used to really speak about a topic to the appropriate audience and to help them have a better understanding of the topic, which is what my TED Talk did. For my TED Talk and screen recording, I used Google Slides and Screencast to make it all happen. Now, my quick overview of Google Slides is that I'm using it right now. And as you can see, I'm flipping through my slideshow very easy. There's a creative background drop with it. I have pictures. Right here, it gives you so many options. You can insert things. You can view it in different ways. The background, the themes, I'm not going to change mine so it doesn't change my project, but you see how it is. So using Google Slides was probably my favorite part of this class. It's such a strength for me personally because I've always used Google Slides to create presentations and I find it easiest to use. One weakness with using Google Slides though is for people who usually use PowerPoint. PowerPoint is very, very similar to Google Slides but are not the exact same and can be tricky for someone to get used to at first. 3 ways I would use this in my classroom is the first, the use of Google Slides. I love it for everything. The second way it could be used is to have my students make their own TED Talks, allowing them to pick a topic important to them and not have a mandatory one because it gives them this opportunity to choose something important to them. And the third way would be to use screencasts like I'm using right now instead of having to stand up and speak in front of an audience. And then these are my sources for my project.